So we saw them throwing a lot of different things. We saw some like full-bodied vases with like tiny little openings. We saw some bowls. We saw some slab-built structures that he was talking about how, started off functional, but he noticed no one actually used them to be a functional vase. So he started just kind of going in the direction of sculpting, which is, there's always kind of like a mashup for ceramic artists about function and non-function. Does your vessel have to be functional? If you're making a vessel, it doesn't matter if it works. Does it matter if people use it? Why are you making it? Potters and ceramic artists throughout history have always had to ask themselves these questions, which is fun in a sense, but also a little bit tedious. So we've kind of reached a point in our ceramic history where we have the freedom to make whatever we want to make, and it doesn't have to be anything, right? So we could make a teapot, and that teapot can be completely non-functional. So you might be wondering, well, why would you put the effort through and make a teapot, all the elements of a teapot, if you're not even going to use it as a teapot? Well, there's a funny answer to that, and that's really the teapot is a very traditional ceramic form that a lot of contemporary artists love making, but they don't necessarily care that it's used for tea. They just like the form and they want to use it as a canvas to make something sculptural. So you're going to see that a lot in some of the work that we're going to explore. So this is a basic vessel. Basic vessels typically have a body, right, which is going to possibly contain something. They mostly have a foot, right, because they have to stand up. They can't just wobble around. And then some type of delivery system for whatever is in the body of the vessel. So that could be a spout of a teapot, or it could be, like a little pinched rim, that a pitcher, kind of neck or form on the actual body of the teapot or the body of the vase or whatever that helps the liquid get delivered out of the vessel. The rim, which is the top of the pot, right, has to end a little differently than the body for the most part. And then a handle. If it's a vessel and you're going to pick it up and you're going to use it, then there's probably going to be a handle. So these are the elements that I want to see on your vessel design. So what are some of the different types of vessels that we could create? Sorry about this. For some reason, my webcam hates white paper. So I have to like refocus it constantly. Okay, so a basic vase. A vase is going to have a body. It's going to have some type of neck that helps the delivery of the liquid, right? So like for example, if you threw a bunch of liquid inside this bowl and you put it in this vase, it's going to be a lot easier to pour out of the vase than the bowl because there's this neck that tapers and delivers that liquid. So we call this the neck or the delivery system. And then typically you're going to find handles, 2 or 1 or several or whatever you want to do. Pitcher has the body or the belly, the neck, and the delivery system. So it could be like an added slab here that is going to direct the liquid out of the pot, the rim, the foot, and the handle. A bowl is going to be wide, right, to contain whatever your pasta, whatever you want to put in there. A foot, the body, the rim can be, often is different than the body. Teapot or coffee pot. This is something I would kind of hang off on this. Don't make one of these for this project unless you're just like super excited about this, because this is going to be our final for this class. We always make a teapot or a coffee pot for the final. So, and it's a complicated form. It has all of these elements, but it also has a lid that has to fit, and your delivery system has to be really ergonomic, functional, in order for you not to get a bunch of, spillage and drippage out of the spout, rim, foot, lid, and a handle on the lid. And then a mug. Mugs are simple. If you do choose to make a mug for this, I'm going to teach you you're going to have to make several to kind of compensate for maybe a larger vessel. And I also want you to learn how to build large. So I'm kind of hoping you're going to choose something bigger. And then a tumbler, which is like a drinking glass made out of clay. So it's just long and skinny. There really is no belly or no delivery system. It's just long and skinny. Okay, so these are kind of the options that we have. So what am I doing today? I'm going to teach you how to use this grid system with this kind of a series of shapes and lines to create a lot of variety in your form. Let's see. I'm going to just use, I'm kind of torn. I want to use a pencil, but sometimes pencils don't show up on the webcam, so I might just use a Sharpie. Okay, so you're going to start off with a grid. If you don't have paper this large, you don't have to use paper this large, but I prefer it because it gives me more room to work. So I want you to have 12 boxes. So you're going to do a design of 12. In each box, you're going to start with a simple shape. So I could start with a circle. I could start with an oval. And each one has to be different. You can do geometric as well. You can do kind of organic. Doesn't have to necessarily be a specific shape. I like bean shapes. I'm not really sure why. And these are all going to be a vessel. I want you to be kind of free with this too. You don't have to, agonize over this. All right, so that's step one. So when we look at our key elements of our vessel, we have the body drawn, and now we're going to play around with the delivery system, the rim, the foot, and the handle. Each one should have one of these components to it. So this is kind of how I like to do it, and this is the fun part. I take the form that I already have, or the shape that I already have, and I kind of extend it. Okay, so that might be a handle. I add more shapes to it that kind of mimic the original shape. And when you do this, you're going to have something that works well. Okay, so there it goes. Now I have a really cool spout. If I wanted to make a teapot, and I'm going to come up, and maybe my lid is going to come up like that. Maybe there's a little top to it. And then this would be my handle. And that would be my foot. And what I would like you to do, because if you use a Sharpie, that's fine, but it might be a good idea to take a color and then actually color in the part that would be kind of like the form of the teapot. Geez, I am just lacking in art supplies right now here. Just going to use this leaded pencil. So I would actually color in the part that would be solid form. And I would get some colored pencils or crayons or whatever you want. But I still want to see, I don't want you to hide the original forms that you're putting in there, because that's important to me that you're following along. So let's do a few more here. So I could maybe just extend that. I don't want you to think about it too hard. And make them all different. Whenever I'm designing something new, I always go through this step because I feel like it really kind of helps me get a lot of variety. I wouldn't want the foot to be that big without too much work. So whatever you use to fill this in, make sure I can see your lines underneath. And you might even want to label it, like this would be, maybe this is my coffee pot. Maybe this is my teapot. Maybe this one is going to be possibly, I don't know, let's play around with it first before I decide. So I'm going to put more rectangles in there. Kind of have fun with it. maybe this is a handle instead of a lid. This would be the body. And this could possibly inform like the way you decorate it later. And maybe there's two handles on this. So this looks just like a container to me. All right, so on and so forth. I'm going to continue to work on this, but I'm going to also allow you guys to start working. So it's 11 o'clock. Please come back at 11:30, and let me see if I'm going to ask you to post a whip. Whoops. Oop. I think I am asking you to post a whip. So let me double check. Yep. So you're going to post a whip of this. It shouldn't take you too long, so go ahead and get started. Come back at 11:30 to post your whip. And I'm going to continue to work on mine, and I'm going to add some color too. Does anyone have any questions? I haven't looked at the chat box. Printer paper is fine, Kate, but that's pretty tiny. You might need to have more than one piece. I wouldn't try to divide a piece of printer paper into 12 sections. So maybe do like 2. And please use a lot of variety, and please don't just copy my shapes, right? Like make up your own shapes and really have fun with it. Oh, thanks, Christina. I'll change that. Oh, so the whip is due today, but the final completed thing is due next class. If that makes sense. So let's see here. I'll change the due date. So the whip is actually due today. There we go. Thanks. As you guys are working on these, you'll notice that your sort of creativity gets about like the form and the way you decorate it gets a little bit more heightened as you make more. You can even combine different forms. Like it doesn't all have to be organic and you can do geometric and organic.